Okay guys, so today is a really special day for me. So 4 years ago today, I was in a life-threatening boating accident that resulted in the loss of my left hand. So today I kind of want to take you through what that day looks like to me now, 4 years later, and the things I've had to go through and the things I've had to conquer and just overcome. What comes from recovering from a trauma or any sort of accident at such a young age. So I'm going to take you guys back a little bit first. So this happened in 2014. I was 16 years old. I just graduated high school. I had graduated high school a year early to move to the city to pursue dance, and I'd been working my whole life to do this and to move there and finally be ready to try a professional career in dance. And so I was out celebrating at the lake a couple days later with my friends, and we were just having a regular day. We were out boating and tubing and hanging out at the beach and just having lots of fun. Came to a midday point, and so the tube didn't fit inside the back of the boat anymore, so it was just actually resting on the back of the boat space. And we were just moving forward, and the tube had fallen out of the back of the boat, and no one else realized but myself. So my initial reaction was to go back and reach for the rope. So I went back to grab it, and in the meantime the rope got tangled around my hand, and within a couple seconds I was out the back of the boat, and my arm I had pretty much flung like that. So I flew backwards, and my hand just completely ripped off and went forwards with the boat. But in this moment I had no idea what had happened. I remember rising out of the water and I was like, oh, my shoulder feels a little bit weird, so I kind of like rose my hand, then all of a sudden to be like, hey, come get me. And I saw in that moment that I had like no hand. That I was like, remember being surrounded by blood, and I just saw like my bones, and I had two decisions in that moment. I was like, I stay above the water, I go down. And everyone told me after that that basically when I was in that moment I should have drowned, and that I was in the deepest part of the lake and I was in shock and there's no way I should have stayed above. So that's something I'm gonna get to later, but that was definitely for me the Holy Spirit kind of keeping me above water and keeping me alive in those moments before I could get taken into further care. So from there, one of the guys had come in and they jumped in and got me, and we made like a wrap around my hand. And from there I remained really calm. I know in the water I screamed hand a couple times, but other than that I was really calm. It was really weird. And I remember driving to the boat launch after it had just happened, and just that mindset of just being like, no, like this isn't real, like this can't be real. How is this real? Like 2 seconds ago I was fine. I had both my hands. This is just a nightmare. This isn't real. This isn't real. This isn't real. And it's just like that state that you're like, okay, like actually 10 seconds ago I was completely fine. Like I was a completely different person, and now 10 seconds later like my whole life has just changed, and I can't go back and I can't change it, and this is what's happening. From there I remember just like praying, and I was like, please God, just don't take me. Like I'm not ready to go. Like don't take me. And I kind of got that prayer from Bethany Hamilton when she was getting her arm bitten off by a shark, because strangely enough growing up Soul Surfer was like my favorite movie. Like it was my favorite movie. So I had known every step that Bethany went through on her way from when she got bit to when she got to the hospital. And her process is kind of what kept me alive in those moments too, and her prayer, and just knowing that if I was around people that was going to get me there safely, then I was going to get there safely and I was going to be okay. Which is really crazy, because that was like my whole childhood was that movie, and then all of a sudden this was happening to me, and it was my one thing that came to my mind. So from there I got in an ambulance, and then I got taken in a helicopter to Children's Hospital where I was treated, and I got into my surgery about an hour and a half after being in the emergency room because all the places were full. And I remember getting into the hospital bed in the surgery, and I was just like lying flat down. And so there's all these people around me, and I made sure before I closed my eyes that I looked at every single surgeon in the room, and I was just like, God has a plan for me. And then they had like the mask, and as soon as I said that, they're like, are you ready? And I said yes. And so they put the mask on, and then all of a sudden I was out. So I'm not going to take you too much far into my recovery. What I really want to share is the process of after that. So not my physical recovery, but my mental recovery. So for the first couple months for sure, and even the first couple years, I felt I was okay for everybody else, and I truly believed I was okay. I believed that it happened for a reason and that everything was going to work out. But I was kind of in the state of like, look, like, Mom, I'm okay, I'm still dancing, I'm still doing this, I'm still in the gym, I still have this career ahead of me, look, I'm still active, I'm still loving life, I'm still okay, I'm okay. And I felt like for so long I was just kind of reassuring everybody else that I was okay, and I didn't actually take the time to check myself if I was okay. And I knew that it was supposed to happen. I didn't really know why it was supposed to happen, I don't think. Now, just kind of like on a faith note of all of that too, is growing up, I grew up Christian, and I kind of participated in it with my mom. It wasn't really something that went through my whole family, but I really tried to grab faith, and I tried to grab God growing up, and it wasn't something that ever really sunk in with me as much as I tried, and I really tried to reach out. I didn't understand it, and I didn't have so much of a connection, and at the time of my accident, I was like so far out of my faith walk. Like, I was like, I want to get famous, like I want to be known, I want to be on TV, I want to dance in this company, I want to do this. It was all about myself, and I was just like going full force of like the journey of me. Like, I was like, I want this. And now looking back, like, I'm gonna get into it in a bit, but in that moment of the accident, it was a time in my life, and I was moving so far forward at my own pace, just like going up and up and up, and just like going so quick, and with no one else in mind but myself. And I was going so quickly forward in this route, and then all of a sudden I got to this point, and God just like, he ripped me out of that boat, and he ripped me backwards, and he's like, stop, like, you can't do this by yourself, you can't go this way, you're going to get hurt, you can't handle this world, you can't handle the weight that people will put on you if you stay in this shape. Like, you need me to come on this journey, you need to let me take control and let me take you on this journey, because you, like, Kristie, you can't do it by yourself. Like, this world is too heavy for you to take this by yourself and to put it on you. And in that moment, like, I got ripped out, and I got ripped so far backwards, and I just landed in like his spirit, and that's what kept me above the water. And that's like such a crazy way to think about it. Like, and I just had this realization like a couple weeks ago with one of my girlfriends in a coffee shop of all things, and we were talking about it, and it's like just this picture of just me moving like so quickly in like a harmful direction. All of a sudden I just got like ripped backwards, and God was like, stop, like, you can't go there, you are going to get beaten, like you will not survive and thrive the way I want you to go if you go that way, because you need to go this way with me leading, like, not driven by your own name, but driven by my name. And that is like oh my gosh. It's so crazy. And I mean, at that time I was so far away from God, and I was so far away from everything. It was all about myself. And even after the accident, I didn't realize this then, and I had kind of kept moving forward and kind of tried to find my own praise of my own name and create my own story and be like, this is why it happened, like, this is blah 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 blah. It's still all about me. Like, I was still trying to decide why things happened to me and why I was the one that going through it and what my message was. But it's like, it's not about me. Like, it's about like God's story that he told through Jesus, and he's telling through me. Like, that is my ultimate purpose, is to tell his story and praise his name and not praise my own name. And every time I go closer to praising my name, I get torn further back and reminded, like, that's not the way to go, because I can't get anywhere if I don't have God leading me and Jesus leading me. Like, I need them ahead of me to stay protected, and that's the only way that he's gonna like reveal my calling. And again, this is just so crazy. But following the accident, again, like I said, I kept kind of going after my own things, and it wasn't until I had a really unhealthy relationship and I put a lot of my self-validation in this person, and I didn't really realize it until it was something that was taken away from me. And when that was taken away from me, my, like, everything that I held on to about myself just like completely like crashed, and like nobody knew I was in a serious like silent depression by myself. Like it was just, I stopped doing the things that I love. I stopped dancing. I stopped. Got to a point where I was so distraught that like I needed a supernatural God to help me. Like I could not help myself from everything that I had been through with the accident, and just like everything that comes from feeling unworthy and complete after losing a piece of your body that you can never get back. And I just felt so like unworthy of love, and felt so unworthy of success and pretty much everything good. I was like, this is like, I'm broken. I was so down, and I was like, I went to like the closest local church that I can remember to where I was staying downtown, and I just prayed, and I just like, I remember just breaking down on that day and just being like I can't do this. Like I can't do this without your help, God. Like I'm so broken, and I just have so much weight on myself, and I just feel so unworthy of everything, like everything. And I just need you to take this from me, God, because I can't carry the weight of my accident, of everything that I've been through anymore, because I just I can't carry it. And that day, like my life was just so changed. Like I just started praying and being like, God, like give me a desire to read your word. Like give me a fire inside of me to light for you, that people can see your light through me, God. And just give me these things, give me these passions of your name. And suddenly there was nothing I wanted to do more at the end of the day than come home and read my Bible, and come home and pray, and come home and worship, and spend those times with God, that he was just like revealing how like worthy and loved I really was. And suddenly those feelings of unworthiness and love was replaced with like the grace of God. And I was just like the way it all happened is just so crazy. And after about like 5 months of me just being like so on fire for Jesus, I got this opportunity to be on this upcoming TV series that you'll learn more about. But I actually got to mentor and consult an amputee and teach her all about my vulnerabilities and my pain and my suffering and my recovery that came with my amputation. And it was forced me to go so far and deep back into like those hidden places again. And that was just like God taking out these pieces even more, and then not only bringing them up for me to see, but bringing them up for other people to see. So this show had just given me like so much strength and empowerment, and like I can't describe it, but the love that the show gave me for my own self, and the appreciation for amputees in general, and for like a disabled physical audience and any sort of disability, like the empowerment is just unbelievable. And to know like when I was on that set, I was constantly sharing my story with everybody, because everybody knew that I was the amputee consultant, and I'm very open about talking about it. I love talking about it. I love sharing my story. I know that's why I'm still here. I just felt this overwhelming amount of like support and love that came from other people hearing my story, and they just kind of told me how encouraging it was and how inspiring it was to them. And it's something that I didn't even realize was so powerful, was just like speaking and sharing things that I've been through with other people. Whether people have been through the same things or completely different, we all go through so many struggles in life, and no struggle is the same as the other, but no struggle is more painful than any other as well. And I consider what I've been through to be extremely minimal compared to what some people have been through as well. Like we're all in this together, and I think it's so important that we share our stories, and that we share what brought us through our stories, so we all can kind of share that hope, because I think a lot of the time we all just need a little help and hope to come from other people. So something that's really cool that I've kind of learned in the last couple months from this whole process is that as much as I love dance, and dance is like what melts my heart and is just like so important to me and such a huge piece of who I am, it's a piece of who I am, but it's not who I am. And it's a piece of my calling, but it's not my whole calling. And I've kind of noticed that dance is like my vessel to reach the people, but once I reach the people, I have so much more to do than to just dance. And I think that I'm here, and I've lived through what I've lived through, and I've succeeded in the ways that I have since the accident, to share and to speak with other amputees and speak with other people and people that are going through small things, big things, anything. Like, just, I think talking to somebody that's been through something as well is so important, and it's such a huge piece of community. And I think when we're struggling that we need community, because when I was going through like the hardest part is I needed more community than I allowed myself to have, and I needed more vulnerability than I allowed myself to have, because as much as like Jesus was my counselor at that time, and God was my go-to, it wasn't enough either, and I didn't know that until I started sharing it with other people, and I learned the release that came from that. So today, like, looking back, I have nothing but love for that day. For me, it's a day of celebration. It's a day of grace. It's a day of Jesus. It's a day of survival. It's a day of family. It's a day of a new awakening. Like, I always say to people that who I was before the accident was a completely different person. Like, I don't remember speaking like that. I don't remember thinking like that. I don't remember who that person was, and I can't imagine being that version of Kristie, because since the accident I was just reborn into a whole nother life, and I feel like this is who I was born to be in, and I was born to follow Jesus in this way and have him lead me down the road that he wants to lead me in, and share me with the people that he wants to tell his story to. And so for me, like, it is just a day I am so grateful and I'm so thankful for. And so today I just kind of wanted to share with you guys what that looks like for me, because it has been a journey, and this last year has been so hard and emotional and important. I think it's been a very important year, and I've learned so much about myself. I've learned so much about how big and how good our God is, and just how like mighty his power and his grace is, and how overwhelming and redeeming he is in times of need. And I'm so thankful for how he saved me, and I just pray and I hope that my story can help save and give other people out there hope. So for today, I just want everyone that's watching this to just be so grateful for me, and I want you guys just to like love and feel and care like you don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow, because you really don't. And on June 29th, which is when I'm filming this right now so I can release it to you guys tomorrow, but June 29th, I had no idea that my life would change in front of my eyes in 1 second the next day. I had no idea, and just like that, it did happen. So we never know what's going to happen the next day. And as cliche as it is, I really hope that from this video you guys can understand just how valuable and incredible life can be, and just how worthy you are of any success and any love and any care. You deserve more than the world, and you are so worthy of anything you put your mind to, and you're capable of anything you put your mind to. And I hope you just realize that power that you have within yourself, because no dream is too big and no fault is too big to outride your potential. And so I just pray for all you guys that are watching this, and I just hope that I can inspire some of you through my journey. And I can't wait to take you guys along for more of it. So if there's any certain point of this video that you want me to elaborate more on and talk more about, if you guys have any questions or anything you want me to dive back into and talk a little bit more about, comment below and let me know. Also, don't be afraid to reach out to me on any private messaging on my Instagram, which I'll link, and my Facebook page. But I'm more than happy to talk to you guys if you're going through something that's similar, or just talk to you about anything you're going through. Okay guys, thanks for watching, and I hope that you are leaving this video feeling thankful and loved and worthy, because that's what you are. Thanks guys, see you next time.